Hello and welcome to another edition of Inside Leatherneck Athletics. I'm Michael Broskowski, and joining us here today in the studio as we talk men's golf is head golf coach Mel Blasi. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And Coach, I want to start off and talk a little bit. You played at Western Illinois University 1985 to 1987. How special is it to be back here running the program at where you played?
Well, you know, I think Western has always had a strong tradition of golf here, and so it's nice for me, having been a player here and now a coach, to be able to wear the purple and gold and wear it proudly.
And now we finish up the fall schedule back on October 18th as the golf schedule split between fall and spring. How would you kind of grade that fall schedule for your team? Obviously played some very good competition.
Well, it's kind of hard to put a measure on spring versus fall, but because we have so many good tournaments in the fall, we play at Nebraska and Kansas and Illinois State, great competition. The fall really prepares us, I think, for the spring in terms of seeing which players have stood out in the fall season. You get a chance to see what the freshmen can do and the newcomers. And even though you have that layoff between the fall and the spring season, it kind of sets the tone for the spring.
And you mentioned that layoff, you said it set the tone for the spring, but how difficult is it? You play those fall schedules and you have that long break of really not being able to get outdoors.
It can be very difficult. This year's been an exception because we've been able to get out and play a lot more than we usually do. But some of the players play better in the fall, and they're not used to playing in the spring, particularly freshmen. They're not used to playing that early spring schedule. We get started in February. So it's one of those things where it's hard to gauge how you're going to be in the spring just because you played maybe well in the fall.
And 2 invites through the spring schedule. How are your thoughts so far on the spring schedule as it's gone on? Playing down in Florida was a big tournament for you guys. How has it gone so far?
Well, it's always interesting. You start in mid-February. I thought we played very well in the Southern Utah tournament. We beat all the teams from the north and lost all the teams in the south, which is not unusual. I thought we were very competitive there. And then, we have a month layoff before we play in spring break. The spring break tournament was an exceptional tournament. You had Central Florida ranked in the top 20, and Wichita State won the tournament and shot 20 under par. So the competition level was a lot higher at that tournament. But I'm still optimistic. I think we've seen some real bright signs this year, and the rest of our schedule, I think, will benefit us greatly going into the Summit League.
And obviously one of your players, Kurt Slattery, had a nice invite up at the Thunderbird Invitational, shooting a 147 in his 4th top 20 finish. What does a player like that bring to your team?
Well, he came from a junior college where he had a lot of success, so he came into our program with a lot of confidence. I think Kurt would tell you that he hasn't accomplished all that he's capable of yet. He's really close, and a few putts here and there. I expect Kurt to be right up there in the top 5.
And now coming up, your first home invite on April 2nd, the Bomasado here at Western Illinois. Why is this such a big event for this golf program?
Well, we get to play at home. I mean, you look at basketball and baseball and some of the other sports, and they play several home contests during the year. This is our only home tournament during the season. Gives our guys a chance to play in a competitive event on a course that they play every day. So it's, you hope that there is some home course advantage. It doesn't always work that way, but they look forward to playing in front of their friends. They a lot of times have family that can come and watch them play. So it really is a special event, especially for the seniors. It's their last time playing here at Western.
And you mentioned home course advantage, because it is really a challenging course.
It is a challenging course, and I think it's extremely challenging in terms of hitting it straight off the tee, kind of knowing where to go on the tee, and then also the greens, they have a lot of slope to them, and knowing where to be and where not to be. So those things, again, you hope that they're an advantage when you play in a competitive event. And
you mentioned the competitive event. How do you look and see so many teams coming in? What do you see at the competition level of this year's event?
Well, South Dakota State has a very good team. They're in our conference. They've played well all year. Bradley has kind of been up and down, but they're very capable. And we have some other new league teams that are coming. Nebraska Omaha will be here for the first time. South Dakota, who's coming into our league, they'll be there. So I think it'll be a tournament that has a lot of teams like us that, there'll be an open competition. There'll be a lot of teams that can compete and play well.
All right, thanks, Coach, for joining us today, and wish you good luck in the Bomasado.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll say Coach Mel Blasi from the men's golf program for another edition of Inside Leatherneck Athletics. I'm Michael Broskowski.